All right, SCN from your TV right here at my favorite venue, the Warehouse in St. Catharines. Eric Dixon, fine gentleman, indoor shoes. Make sure you check out this venue, one of the finest in St. Catharines. And we do a lot of interviews in the green room today. We have the Heavy Hearts, a brand new album out called On a Chain. So we're going to talk about On a Chain, a whole bunch of things coming up right now with Jamie and Riley. Heavy Hearts, not the Heavy Hearts, but Heavy Hearts. And a brand new EP out, On a Chain. So I want to talk about that first. You've got, I was surprised, 3 EPs and a full studio album. Out, and you've been together since 2013. But talk about how it became On a Chain, where you got the name from, and maybe a little bit about the process of writing the record.
We started, when did we record? January of last year? Yeah. January of this year? January of last year? Yeah, January of this year. But we had started working on it, I think, almost a year ago, like October or November of last year. And we tried a little bit of a different process than what we usually do. We didn't fully jam out every song like together in the room as we were doing it. We kind of had little bits and pieces, and we went to the studio and we did a lot of things where we all kind of like, dragging stuff around on a computer and like maybe the chorus could be completely different, and we scrapped a bunch of stuff. And I had a chorus for one song that I loved, and I was like, we're using that. And then everyone else hated it, and so we lost it, and we had a second verse.
You write most of the songs? You play guitar, right?
I play lead guitar. I'd say Justin is like the primary songwriter. He's the lyricist. He's the emotional centerpiece of the music. So I couldn't tell you.
He's the heart.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you where.
You're
On
the heavy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I couldn't say where On a Chain comes from because that's like straight out of his.
Is it? Oh yeah.
It's
his emotional playbook. Yeah.
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 But
the lead single "Unravel" has a line in it that says "We're bound together on a chain." So when it came to trying to find a name, we bounced a bunch around, and then finally he went, "Is this too literal? Like, can we just use this one?" And then we sat on it for a week or two, and then we went, "Yeah, okay, I kind of like it. Let's use that one."
So you talked about the writing process, but did that change from when you first started in 2013 as a band as to how you wrote songs?
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah, we used to get into a room and we would just jam out a riff for 20 minutes or 4 hours until it kind of bled into a full song. Whereas this one, we didn't. The entire writing process for this EP, we sat in, like our drummer Davis has a studio, and we would sit in his studio and demo these songs out strictly by sitting behind the computer and playing instruments. So much to the point that when we finished recording, when we went to go record, we had to get together and like jam the songs to make sure we could do it before we went to record, right? So that's a huge difference in our writing style that we've never approached before.
that one. It was super cool. Everybody got to do something I think that they wanted to do. Like everyone had a personal, like, I really want to try this. And they were in very different kind of sections. We did this one thing where we all played drums in a room, and Justin just played acoustic guitar, and like no one else played on it. It was just like a tribal drum thing and acoustic guitar. And we did one thing that has this drum machine at the end of the song and all these like guitars that are like kind of like violins, and everybody got like a thing that they wanted to do that was out there. Like,
it's funny when I read, you guys talk about your effects-laden guitar playing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right. So
that's what I do.
Where did that come from? Have you always played like that kind of style, or is it just something that you were like?
Yeah, I've been playing guitar for a long time, like 17 years or something. So you just get tricks and you get things that you keep doing that you come back to because you like to do them, and you spend a lot of time tweaking everything and just kind of honing in on stuff. And I've been working on a very similar kind of style for a very long time and just kind of slightly moving it, getting it like, I think that's a little better, and just very incremental changes on trying to make crazy noises, and I think I've got it to a pretty crazy place right now.
Well, you definitely, guys, you have a full sound for sure when you watch the videos on YouTube, or you can listen to some of the new album. Emo punk, and we talked about this before we went on camera, and alternative, what influences you guys to play the music you do? It's different, it's amazing, but sometimes I would just wonder, like, what do you listen to kind of get your influences?
I think all four of us listen to such different styles of music, which I think actually helps when we're writing. I know, like, there's bands that exist in the scene that we listen to and we like, but I know Riley, for instance, listens to a lot of Radiohead. He's into a lot of Yeasayer, a lot of crazy synthy type stuff. Davis is pretty strictly into hardcore, a lot of loud stuff. Justin and I have similar tastes in music, but like when the four of us get together, I think everyone kind of takes.
It becomes Heavy Hearts.
Yeah, everybody kind of takes a piece from what they listen to at home and then bring it into a new project where the four of us are now contributing. So I think that kind of helps with like an original approach to music.
I want to talk a little bit about on the record and the music industry side of things. So you're signed to New Damage Records, part of Dine Alone Records, and you're also signed to a label in the UK. What does that mean for an artist such as yours, or any artist? Because back in the day, you strived to sign with a label, right? Because you were being looked after. Today things are much different, but what does having a label mean to you guys?
I mean, yeah,
It means, sounds kind of cool, but I mean,
it means a lot of help with the stuff that we probably aren't super smart or good at.
Right.
Is that fair?
Yeah, it's having an office to email or call on when you're, how do we do this?
Right.
Are we supposed to do this? What happens if we don't do this? Signing with Failure by Design out in the UK, the difference, I guess, there would be before we signed with them, New Damage had distribution throughout all of the world, technically.
right.
Whereas now Failure by Design has distribution for UK and Europe. So there's more, it's just like feet on the ground over there with our music being like, hey, shops, hey, radio stations, hey, what have you.
No, they play your songs on the radio in the UK right now? Because you guys are going over there in January.
We are going over there now. I don't think so. I don't think they do, no.
You don't know that for sure, though.
They could be. I'm not.
They might be, but I don't know.
I hope so, but we don't know about that.
How does a band get attention today in the marketplace? I mean, it's so noisy, right? You have YouTube that you can watch anything you want. And guys like yourself who are playing clubs like this, I mean, how do you get the attention of fans and how do you gain fans, I guess? Is it all social media? Is it your live shows? What kind of gets you your fans?
I mean, we play a lot. Our approach has been to play a lot.
Yeah. I would say right now in 2017, the way everything's working, it's like equal parts internet, equal parts touring.
Right.
So you have to be, your social media has to be there. You got to be posting. Spotify's really great right now. Like the idea that we just got our Spotify numbers back for like the year end, and there's been like 61 countries listening to our band. And that can only exist in the internet age unless you were a band on the radio, right? So like that's really important. But at the same time, getting out on the road and like playing all these cities and playing all these shows and having, first time you enter a city, 15 kids show up. And the next time you play, 22 kids. Like you just keep seeing those numbers build. And I think they kind of work together.
And is radio still your number one main way of getting stuff out or wanting to get stuff out? I mean, it's great that it's played on maybe the internet or people are watching it on YouTube. Are you still looking after radio first, do you think?
It'd be nice, but I don't think we've had, percentage-wise, we haven't had a huge amount
You
of
don't do radio tours or anything like that no?
Radio is still incredibly important to specific genres, but there's still... In 2017, there's this weird, you have the mainstream where it's like you're on the radio and you're doing these big radio circuits and you're doing these big festivals. And at the exact same time, you have bands that are touring the world playing to, 800 cap clubs that have never been on the radio and they're selling out every night. So, there's that weird balance where, you can be at the top and you can be on the radio and you can have all the success. Or you can be on the underground and still be at the top of what you're doing.
Yeah,
right?
and be successful. Absolutely.
So I don't think it's nice. It'd be really cool. I'm sure anyone would appreciate it, but there are still levels of success you can achieve without it.
Right.
So I don't think it's so much of let's say in the 80s or 90s, it was you had to get on the radio or you were a band for a couple years and then you broke up. Whereas now you can exist and have an entire career without ever being played on the radio.
That's a great point. So for 2018, what would your goals be to tour more? I mean, like I said, you put out a bunch of records or EP. So do you want to put out another full-length record like Bliss or?
I think we're starting to write the next one. Yeah.
Record 2. Probably shouldn't have said that.
Okay, on that too, why did you choose? Why did you choose this to release an EP? So if you're gonna go back and write a record so soon, you just put an EP out. Why? What was that?
I think the reasoning, personally, I think the reasoning behind it is these 6 songs off this EP were such a branch out for us artistically and everything. We tried a bunch of new things on this, as opposed to the last couple of EPs leading up to the full length was all sort of a similar sound. This was the first thing we did where we really branched out. So I think it was easier.
Want to see if it's going to work?
It was easier to put it. It was easier to put it on an EP, kind of gauge if people were ready to kind of change with us.
Yeah.
And it seems people seem to be into it. So here we go.
Right? Yeah, it's shorter than an LP. It's only 6 songs, right?
Yeah,
so that makes it an EP. But also, the songwriting. I think I was arguing with everyone a lot, but the songwriting was no, let's just go for that crazy thing that probably shouldn't, or try that thing that might alienate somebody.
Well, I will listen to you guys on the chain for the first time yesterday, I think it was, and great songs. Love the
you.
guitar.
Thanks,
love
man.
the sounds you've got. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the show tonight. So heavyheartsband.com, right, is your website?
Yes.
And you're on all the platforms to get music, like
Everything.
iTunes, Spotify, and all that
iTunes,
stuff
Spotify,
as well.
I think Google Play.
If you use that, if you're one of the 20 people who use that,
Jamie and Riley, Heavy Hearts.
Thank you.